I'm here with.
Crystal,
Nice to meet you, Crystal.
you too.
So, whereabouts are you from originally?
Born and raised here in Lower Mainland. Was born in Burnaby in 1982, so that makes me 40 years old. And I basically lived in pretty much almost every city that you can think of down here, like, from North Van to Chilliwack, basically. So,
Where did you like the most?
I like Vancouver the most. East Van, this is my home. I consider this my home. It's like I basically grew up here. When I was 15 years old, we used to move around lots when I was a kid. So mainly Surrey and Vancouver are basically my two homes that I consider my homes. So those are places I feel comfortable in.
Can you describe your childhood?
My childhood was very short because I started out doing drugs. I got introduced to drugs when I was 8 years old, but I didn't I didn't continue. I just I tried them out. Started smoking weed when I was 8, and then got in trouble. So then I tried to stay a good little girl, but when my teenage years came along, and I wanted to be cool like all the other people. So I started smoking cigarettes and running away from home, and just being whoever I wanted to be, just whatever, just being a little hoodlum, I guess you could say. So I started out smoking weed, and then I started drinking alcohol, and then that led from doing alcohol, from cocaine, crack, then heroin, ecstasy, acid, mushrooms. Pretty much done it all. I can't say everything, but I've pretty much done everything I just mentioned to you. That I've done all that. But I've been on the streets since I was 15. So that's majority of my life. I did clean up for 5 years back in 2012. So I cleaned up for 5 years, and then I relapsed. I was out in Langley for the last 5 years, and I was actually with my partner, which we are not together no longer. I was with him for 12 years, and I started out selling. Okay, when I was 15, I started out hanging out with older crowds of people, so they're selling dope and stuff like that. So I thought, that's a cool thing to do. So that's how I got introduced to the drugs. I started drinking and partying and stuff like that, and just thinking it was cool to do drugs and get high and drunk and boys and everything, right? I came out to Vancouver, and basically this is where I started out hanging out in the hood first, and then I got introduced to downtown. Downtown was kind of once you're down here, it's kind of hard. It's hard to leave here because it's like a 4-block radius of people of nonstop, just drug using all everywhere, and you can basically just do what you want anywhere, pretty much. And I when I was younger, I used to drive by here on the bus and be like, I would never be caught dead down there. But you know what? That was totally not. I was down here the second I got introduced here, and I stayed down here. It was just I grew up down here on the street. When I was 17, I came downtown, and I was actually a working girl when I was 15 and 16, and then I quickly grew out of that real quick, and I just started hustling and selling dope, and that's what I've been doing ever since then. So being on the streets and stuff like that, you learn from how people adapt down here, and it's you gotta have something going for yourself. You can't just be down here just grabbing people. It's not gonna work for yourself, not at all. So you need to pick up something quick, something you're good at, right? So I sing, so that's what I do. I just hustle and sing, and it's been pretty. It's pretty good money for somebody who's down here, anyways, right? So I keep myself maintained, anyways. I don't I'm not like, you know, I try to keep myself above a certain level where I'm not like, you know, like too fucked up, but we all get there at some point, you know. We all have our shitty days and our good days, and I just try to stay above level. And yeah, so I've been, now it's been, I've been back down here for like 3 months, but I was gone for 10 months, or 10 years, sorry.
Where were you?
I cleaned up for 5, so I went to Surrey and cleaned up. Well, basically I went to jail. And then that,
What'd you go to jail for?
trafficking, robbery, stupid stuff. Like just stupid things that you pick up along being part of the downtown scene. You know, back then the cops were really they're pretty harsh to people that were, you know, using people that were considered, you know, junkies, whatever they want to call us, but they're pretty harsh to us. They you know, they would just like pick out any of us. Sometimes they, you know, I'm lucky I'm not one of the people that got, you know, taken for a ride and like dropped off in the middle of nowhere. I've heard stories about shit like that, you know, like people just fucking getting picked up by the cops, taken somewhere and getting shit kicked and then fucking dropped out in nowhere, middle of nowhere. You gotta make it home yourself, right? Like fucking that. Yeah. It's really fucked up. It's like the Vancouver police themselves are just so corrupt, and so, I mean, people don't see it. People don't see that shit because, you know, it's not something that we like to talk about or fucking, you know, like to bring up and shit like that. But like, you know, it's pretty hardcore down here.
Can you describe what it's like on East Hastings?
East Hastings? Okay, let's see. Well, pretty much, it's somewhere you don't want to be, but it's also somewhere where you're basically accepted for whoever you are, wherever you are. If you're, you know, if you're using drugs, you're definitely going to be accepted, and you're going to get treated like everybody else. You know, nobody. It's kind of like you fit in, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like I feel comfortable down here because, you know, I'm a drug user. I use drugs, so you know, I don't feel too. Which drug of choice? Right now, I'm just doing a little bit of down and smoking a little bit of rock here and there. But I mainly do my down. I like fentanyl, basically, and that's not something I chose to do. It's kind of something that we got stuck doing because heroin's now gone. You can't find heroin anywhere, so it's not the same drug anymore. It's totally different. It's killing people. It's, you know, I've lost a lot of people. I know a lot of people that have passed on from the fentanyl. It's sad. It's like really sad, and just like I'll be sitting, like the day I came down here, okay, I was like so floored with how much it's changed. Like people are so different. Everybody's different. It's like not the same people. Like, you know, like everybody's, all the old school people I know, there's still people kicking it, but there's still people that are fucking this, like, you know, they haven't moved. They're still stuck in the same spot they were back when I last seen them. And, you know, I'm glad to see that they're okay, you know, they're still alive and shit like that, but they're not happy, they're not, you know, they never, you know, I wish that everybody can get away out of here, because, like, you know, when I got out of here, it was like the best life I've ever lived. It was only for 5 years, but it was like the best 5 years I've ever. I'm 40 years old, and those are my 5 years that I've lived and loved my whole life, and I was so content, and I followed my, it's my own choice, you know. I make my own choices, but, you know, my partner at the time relapsed 9 months before I did, and I didn't know, but I wasn't, like, it was kind of like he hid it from me, and I was like, so, and when I found out, I was so disappointed that he did exactly what I thought I was going to do, which was go drink, because I was like so upset with him hiding this from me for 9 months, that I was so upset and so depressed about it, and like so, like, I mean, like, how I've been with this guy for like 10 years, and like, you know, him hiding 9 months from me of using dope, I didn't notice this shit. Like, that's fucked up. Usually I'm like observant. I watched, you know, I see what's going on around me, and I was shocked to shit that 9 months of him using, I didn't even notice. And when he told me, it was just like, it broke my heart. It was like, I don't even. It's like I don't even know you. I felt like I didn't even know him. It was like wow, just a fucking big letdown. You know, my best friend, my partner, the guy was getting married, fucking using behind my back and shit. It's like almost like cheating on me, pretty much. You know, it's like it's just as bad. I guess you could say that because it's basically like it's going behind my back. When you're doing drugs, you don't want to really use alone. So you know, there's always somebody you want to party with, right? And if he's not partying with me, who's he partying with? So you know what I mean that's kind of one trust. Yeah, it was one trust thing out the window. You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna tell me what from day 9 months ago who he's partying with and blah whatever, right? And there's been times where I was thought that he was cheating on me, but I was looking at he was basically he was using dope, but I thought he was cheating. Which you could say, yeah, it's cheating, but it's just something I learned too, being in a relationship that long, I've never been with somebody for 12 years, we were together for 12 years. I learned more about myself than anything, actually, because, just knowing what I want in life, and I know this is not what I want. I know I got a taste of life, of real life, and I had a job, I had cars, I had everything, I had a house, I had everything, and just like that, one fuck up and you're it's done. It goes down the drain slowly. It goes down the drain, and it's like fucking having that life, that good life, taste of good life is I want, I'm back down in my addiction, obviously, but I do know what I want. I don't want to be doing this forever. So I gotta make a quick out real fast, because if I get caught down here, I'm gonna be down here for the rest of my life, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to be, hopefully I get on my shit.
What do you think can be done to help people down here?
Well, I know housing is one of the biggest problems down here, support and stuff like that. There's there's a lot of it. People just gotta stop being lazy and get off their ass and go do it. It's so hard to. I know how hard. For myself, it's hard for me to ask anybody for help. It's hard because I've been turned down in the past, and I don't want rejection. One thing I hate is rejection. I hate being rejected, and so I don't even bother going in that direction at all. I don't bother asking anybody for help. I don't bother asking. You know what I mean? I just think I could do everything on my own, because that rejection really sucks. I tear up if somebody says no to me or something. This is I know what, if I want something, I know what I have to do to get it. And sometimes it's easy for me, sometimes it's hard, so right now I'm in that predicament right now. I'm actually homeless myself, but I'm not on the street, thank God. I am staying somewhere, but it's not considered my home. But I can't be couch surfing forever, and I need to get my own place, definitely. And that's one of the choices that I choose to make, is to not live down here. I don't want to be down here on the street. Just being down here on the street is it's crazy down here now. It's people are not the same people. It's sad. People are ripping people off, stealing. People are sleeping on the street. That's one thing I don't do. I don't rip people off. I don't steal from people. I don't, it's how can you steal from somebody that has nothing? It's the most rudest thing to do to somebody. It's weak shit, man. People are just so weak. You gotta be really strong-minded, to be able to.
What's some of the craziest things you see on these stations?
Oh, dude. The first day, I remember the first day I got down here, when I was 17 years old, I went into one of the hotels, and just before going to the hotels, I remember looking on the side of hearing somebody screaming. There's this girl hanging out the window by her fucking ankles, getting hung out the window, naked. Straight up. She was fucking hanging out the window, screaming fucking for her life, and I was like, whoa, this is fucked up shit, man. What the fuck am I seeing? And then after that, immediately after that, this is what, 2001, or no, what year, 2000? Yeah, I've seen this chick, one of the older chicks that have been around here forever. okay, so as I was saying, that same day when I got down here, I seen that chick hanging out the window, and then I went up to inside the hotel, not the hotel where the girl was hanging out, but the hotel next to it. I walk in there, and there's this big chick, that's down. She's well known down here. She's not down here anymore, but I think she's actually clean now. I think, but yeah, she was like one of the well-respected women around down here that people are scared to talk to her. Basically, yeah. So.
And she spoke with this one.
Yeah, exactly. She was going after her boyfriend with a knife, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on in this place, man? This place is nuts." I didn't think first day to being down here, I'm gonna see some fucked up shit, right? I thought it was gonna take a while for me. Anything. Well, I wasn't expecting to see. I didn't know what to expect actually. I got down here, and I was just going down here with my friends, and then I got introduced to a couple of places where you go hang out and score whatever, and yeah, and then I read into that stuff, and I didn't use needles at all. I was always against needles when I was younger. I was like, I'll never use, I'll never fix, I'll never say never though, okay? Because when I turned 17 years old, what actually led me to fixing, nobody gave me the rig to do. Nobody had me. Nobody said anything. The only reason why I actually fixed for the first time was I was really flu sick, and at the time I couldn't make no money because I was so flu sick that I was like, I wanted to feel a little bit better, and like the amount of dope that I knew I had to go to sleep, and I couldn't make no money, so I had to whatever money I had.
Detoxing instant.
Yeah, so I had to. With whatever the dope that I did have, I knew that it wasn't going to get me better from smoking it. So I figured if I fix it, that I'll get better from it. Which it did help, but it didn't get me fully better. And that was my first time. I was 17 years old, and then the day after that, I was like, I didn't want to get into it. I just wanted to get better that one day. And the next day, I was like, oh, I want to try it again. So I told my friends that do fix. I was like, I want to do fix, and and nobody can tell you what to do really down here. You make your own choices. So I chose to continue on using needles, and then that led to being a full-time needle user. I was like, got into needles, and recently, a year and a half ago, I quit doing needles because when I relapsed, I started using needles again. And then a year and a half ago, when I broke up with my ex, I had to change something with myself. Like dramatically, I had to do something different with my life and just change. So I quit fixing, and I did whatever because I was in depression because of the breakup, and it was like a really hard breakup for me. So drugs weren't helping. So I had to do something for my own self. I tried to be on a path of being in the positive realm, kind of say. Like I like to be a positive person, so everything I try to do about myself was be positive. And it's just one of the things I learned about myself that
Can you describe what it's like in these hotels?
Oh, these hotels are nasty.
What do you mean?
They're pretty grimy. They're pretty. They're old. They're not well. Like the maintenance is not kept up. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't, depending on what place it is. But like more of the older places that are like SROs and stuff like that, they don't. Some people don't give two fucks about what happens in the bathroom, whatever. Behind closed doors, so you go in the bathrooms and it's just fucking like shit on the wall, or fucking like needles hanging out the fucking everywhere. Like some places can be really gross. Some places they they keep up with their maintenance, but yeah, a lot of the hotels are run down here, so it's I guess it's cheaper for housing, people to live in a hotel. I remember back in like 10 years ago when they were charging people like $800 a month. it's kind of better now because it's like they're considered SROs. You only pay $375 a month. So that's, I guess, one thing good about the rent and the hotels being SROs now, not hotels, is that
What do you think about the police taking the tents?
I think that is bullshit. But you know what I mean, like really, I it's hard because like, you know, I was in one of those tents at one point. It's kind of like, you mean, like where else
Where else is everybody
yeah,
going?
where else is everybody gonna go? Like they took Tent City away from the park, Oppenheimer, which, you know what I mean, like I don't blame them. Like it was really like, people gotta live though. Like where they're not gonna house everybody in all these places that are run down and stuff like that. They're actually, you know, some of these places half these places need to get ripped down. So you know what I mean? Like, they're not suitable to be housed in. So I mean, where's everybody really gonna go? Like they should make us like should make it like a fucking park or something. Well, they do have, they kind of, I guess Crab Park is kind of like, it's like somewhere where they like just like let everybody go and just like let everybody be, I guess. But it's also corrupt down there too. I heard some stories about that place. It's really bad. It's really nasty. I haven't been down there since I've been back, so I don't even want to go down there. From what I heard, it's really bad. It's like, you know, people getting killed, girls' bodies being found, people's bodies, not just girls in general, men too. You know, and there's, you know, the other day my girlfriend's nephew was walking up the street, and I was like, I didn't see who he was at first, and I was like, yo, check this girl out. She was like, you know, wearing, like, had her shirt all cropped up and, like, you know, like, walking around, like, you know, trying to flaunt her shit. And it was a guy. And I was like, whoa. And he was only 16 years old. And I just, like, was like, whoa, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, somebody should be kicking his ass out of here. Because, you know, I wish somebody did that to me when I was young, but, you know, nobody does shit. And as long as you bring money and whatever, if you make money, they'll, you know, you're welcome everywhere, right? So I felt so bad for the kid, man. I was like, wow. And you mean all I could do and say was like, you know, man, kid, you like straight up listen to your auntie. You just need to get out of here. Like, you know, it's not suitable. It's not a place for you. But, you know, sad that see him down here at such a young age, like 16 years old. And he's a guy. He's gay to boot. On top of that, right? So he was trying to be a girl and work the streets. So I was like, wow, that's harsh. Sad. But yeah, I wish I pray for people all the time, you know, to get the help they need, and yeah. So
If anyone could help you, what would you want?
if anybody can help me, what I would want to be directed out of here. I would want to get help getting a place, actually, because right now it's hard. My identification is not, like, I've lost two sets of IDs in the past 3 years. So, you know what I mean? Like, actually 3 sets. My status card and 2 sets of BCID. So, yeah, that sucks. You know, somebody's running around with my ID right now and I don't even know who it is. You know what I mean? Using my name, which is really bad. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Anytime. Nice meeting you.